can you hijack something that's grounded? Like, could you hijack into something that's grounded?
It happens every day. Like
Hmm.
people, okay, so we talked about this. It's basically that you have something priceless.
Hmm.
Like no amount of money can really buy it. Like your sanity, your happiness, all these different things, like your resolve, your courage, all those things are priceless. So something will try. So it's also like they're not only are they priceless, you can't steal them in the same way that you can steal like a car or you can steal somebody's money. You literally need to convince the person to give you their happiness in that way, right? Like for the dark siders, like they need to get in this person's consciousness. So that wedging, which, they show the pine cone in this case, it's a wedge in, you can dig a wedge into the reality or a wedge into the aura. This is still contingent upon the person basically lowering their shields or being susceptible to ideals of that they could be weakened. And that's why magic and stuff is very dangerous to play around with, because it doesn't work if you don't believe in it. And I'm talking about, like, in this case, nefarious magic, division magic. It doesn't work if you don't believe in it. But that also means even people who practice what they call light magic have a tendency to be the most susceptible to it because they believe in magic. And the sheer fact that they believe in light magic makes dark magic exist in that way. And they end up in this dichotomy of a battle between good and evil in their minds. You see what I mean? So one thought begets another. One step takes one further down on the path. And so it's like just navigating your vehicle in a way where you're conscious of the moves that you're making in the sacredness of what you're doing. That you're walking through a reality that, even though just like the bodies, they have a GUI over them right now. They have basically a skin over them that cloaks who's really underneath. This is why when you use certain substances, you can see what a person is and you see other things on them. Sometimes it can end a relationship, but it's there. Like even if another person was there and you ask them, hey, do you see that? They'll confirm with specific substances that, yeah, I can see that on them too. So in that way, this reality is hiding who we are, but that same, because everything works in a certain balance, that same hiding has us conflicting less than we normally would when we know, like, so for instance, a lot of this is based on nature. So some humans don't like each other naturally, just like a cat will always try to attack a snake. You see what I mean? So when you put the skin over that being, everybody kind of looks similar enough to where that doles out a little bit. So the differences don't become what we're arguing about as much, but still under the skin, as they say, there's still that I'm not connected to, I'm not a part of. And that's why I was saying the ultimate in this is to realize that the Archons are your organs. And when you really understand the whole Archonic story, you either now are like, okay, well, I thought that these were the bad guys, or you actually accept that the conditions that your organs are in at times through the abuse and the things that happened in the past have created a certain energy. And when that energy is collected or collective, it creates a certain kind of being. But when you have a healthy heart, when you have a healthy liver, then that's what we're talking about here. But when you have a liver that is dysfunctional, then that's when we say, like, the darker side of an Archon, that's what you would really be experiencing. And see, these kind of things, like, for a person, they're going to be experiencing all this personal. Like when one of your organs is failing, it causes distress, lack of sleep. It puts more stress on another organ. So you see, so all this is a personal experience. So while, one will try to find these things externally, and I don't doubt that they'll find some hairy goat somewhere with human legs. But what I'm saying, this has far more use within figuring out where all of these metaphors and acted out animated symbols are really inside of your more refined aspects of your being. So that way, like a king or queen is going to handle the matters at the top. I'm not going to talk to everybody on the low end about something that I could delegate on high. And so in that way, you don't look at the physical reality anymore, like people being the problem, and now you're blaming Trump and on Illuminati and the Matrix and CIA and all this shit. You see what I mean? Because all you're doing is giving more power to that. They exist just as a shadow to anything is there. However, it's not where things get handled. And technically, it's not how you elevate yourself to remove yourself from any kind of governance in relation to that, right? So that's what we talk about cosmic law, and when we get into these things, but they first are established internally through that wholeness. All is self, understanding. These things that we say, like there's only like 3 of them. They actually, when really pulled apart, because they didn't just come from like me, like, oh, I'm going to create this word. It was all through that same, like, tell them this. And me being a conduit for just that, like, I want to really assist. I want to give you something that assists you and takes you to another level. That's what I want to be known for. And because I do that from that space, it allows that to drop into your lap. You get it, and then you do the same thing with it. So yeah, I don't want to get too long-winded about this, but it's just that process of realizing that we're cultivating. I say this, some people may doubt it. I say you can never create anything greater than what you are. And I still hold to that. So the greater that you become, all of the things that you create, from whether it's with diffusion models or whether it's actual children or whether it's businesses and all the other things and creative faculties that are inside of the space, they will always be like these templates. That's the best way of seeing it. A template of your current condition while you were creating that. Now, remember, a creation doesn't stop there. It needs to be nourished. That's why we have the guardians. That's why we look at every single child as our own, and we try to nourish them and shield them and protect them until they can do that same thing for themselves. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you could obviously see that I'm very passionate about this. This is, just been a while, but I trust that you got some great clarity. And I also, appreciate, you being clear yourself and being able to ask these questions.
No, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a blessing to be in this space. Thanks for holding space.
Yeah.
I love it. Love wholeness. See you on the flip side.
No doubt. All right, so we got our sister Courtney Shabazz. Woo, there she goes. She ain't in the space, she in our hearts. What's up? This is a good way to bring this thing into a crescendo.
Wholeness. And I'm coming with a poem. So
there we go.
I just want to again say thank you. Thank you. There's always a synchronicity. It's always consistent. And let me just get into the poem. Another synchronicity. The reality will always silently scream what needs to be seen. There is truth in the silence. Have you listened to the world? Contaminated tantra, the desire to rule, the masters of the realm trying to distract and confuse. But we know to discern the deluge. It's not about who will win and who will lose. It's what we choose. Sovereignty. The all is within. Falling for their lives is the greatest sin. You know the truth. All is self.
Ooh, y'all gonna all have to unmute on that. That's how we going out of this thing. We going in. What's up? Woo!
Hold it. Hold it.